So, my plan starts off with deleting this lab and moving the Tenno lab to that slot. Why, do you ask? Well, so if you look on the minimap, you can see that the Tenno lab has a smaller shape than, I think this is the bio lab. The Tenno lab is smaller than the bio lab, which means that if the Tenno lab is here and the bio lab is over there, we can turn the Orokin lab into Dagoth's Hollow. Because Dagoth's Hollow is a little wider than an Orokin lab, but the Orokin lab fits in here just barely. I think if the Orokin lab, I think if the Tenno lab was on the, if you're oriented this way, the left slot and not the right slot, Dagoth's Hollow could go here. Now, what does that do for the what does that do for the fucking railjack? Not much, but we're getting there. So we could put Dagoth's Hollow here. If that works, if that fits, then I get rid of this elbow and I make it a T. The T extends forward. The middle section of the T goes this way, and the T goes this way into another elbow, and we put the Orokin lab. What is the term? Parallel? Parallel. Parallel to the Orokin lab. Or this would be Dagoth's Hollow. You would put the Orokin lab parallel in like over there. So you would have a hallway going a little further with another elbow, probably a little longer than another elbow, because I think that I think just an elbow would be too short. It would intersect with the Orokin lab. But basically, the Orokin lab and Dagoth's Hollow would be on this hallway, and then this plan has this elevator get replaced by the Bash Lab, which is right across the wall right there. It's right over there. You can see it on the minimap. That's the Bash Lab. The Bash Lab would go here, meaning that all three of the extra labs that are not the 4 labs that are in the spawn, all 3 of those are on this hallway. This is the extra lab hallway. Now, before I would move the Bash Lab to the elevator slot, I would go in here, and I'm going to test this in 2 hours. We're going to see how it fits. I'm going to see if I can use... So look carefully at the map as I walk forward. You can see the overlay. You can see when I step forward enough, you're going to see the overlay over the spawn, and you're going to get a rough estimate for how far I'd have to bridge out to place the dry dock. So you can see, when you do that, you can see that I think 2 hallways this way, just two hallways extending forward this way, would give us room to place the dry dock, because we would have effectively bridged over spawn. I think it's either 2 or 3, and honestly, I think 2 or 3 hallways, just a long-ass hallway that way, could even make them plus signs if we wanted to for more reactors. I don't think I would do that. I'd probably just do a long hallway. I think that is the best place to put our dry dock, because it keeps it close. And now you're asking, well, why does that matter? Because you're putting the Bash Lab here. Walk with me. Hold on. We're getting there. Take a look. So, what that means, this is now the lab section. The labs are all here. The labs are all tidy in this area. And I have a plan for if that actually doesn't fit over there when the Tenno lab is there. I have a plan. I think this is the best way to do it. We have all the labs on this part. The sign just says, it just says extra labs. It says the sign says extra labs. Now, get ready for it. Keep your pants on. We put the elevator over here. I get rid of navigation. I get rid of this hallway. I make it a T. The elevator's right here. The elevator would be exactly parallel to where the elevator is right now over there, except it's here now, which means that in one hallway we have the elevator to the dry dock and navigation, which is 2 of the same kind of idea in the same hallway, which fits better. Then and since we've tested it over there, we would know that the dry dock could fit if you do the exact same thing I have up there, over there, bridged over spawn with hallways and shit. And we would be able to see, by testing it over there, that the dry dock could fit by bridging with 2 or 3 hallways over spawn. And then we could do the exact same thing here and put the dry dock access elevator right here. Dry dock access elevator's right here. And then we bridge right over, and the dry dock is straight that way. And then our reactors are left and right, just like we intended, except it's over here now, and it fits better because the navigation is here. which kind of sucks because it means the blubber wall is going to have to be rebuilt, but that's fine. That's fine. It'll all happen. So, that is my plan. That is my plan to test. And that means that once we do that, that all three of these doors, these two doors and this one door are good. There's nothing else here. There's literally nothing else there. There's nothing else that's going to that's going to go here. And then that means I have these three doors to figure out where the lich thing is going to go. And honestly, the lich thing might be able to fit right here. Or I'll put an elevator here, and then the lich thing can be up the elevator. You go up the elevator to the lich thing, and then it's all. And then all of our labs, everything, the whole shebang is all contained within this big section, centered on this four-way intersection. And then the big hall has these two empty doors that can just go to like gardens or dual rooms or whatever stupid bullshit. And then that's it, dude. That's my vision. That is what I'm going to test. It just is going to rely entirely on the idea that, first of all, we can bridge over with using this elevator. We'll test if we can bridge over the next few days. I'll test with hallways to see if I can bridge over and how many hallways it takes to bridge over spawn to hit empty space where I can place the dry dock, and if Dagoth's Hollow fits here with the Tenolab shape there. That's the idea. That is the idea that I'm pitching here. And that's what I think is the perfect vision, and if it all fits, I do not think it gets better than that. I think even if there's a 3 hallway long intersection to walk to the dry dock, it's going to be worth it because it's all going to be right centered on this one area rather than like, oh, hold on, let me go to the dry dock, guys. Walk my ass all the way here, all the way there, gotta walk across the entire hall. It's going to be walking still, but it's going to be centered walking in one area rather than walking across a hallway, up an elevator, and then forward more. And it's going to keep the dojo nice and tight on this one area rather than having like a long extended fucking hallway that way, or a long extended fucking hallway that way. So that's the vision.